Well, everyone, I just had the pleasure of seeing Mouse PI for Hire behind closed doors here at Summer Games Fest / Playdays in Los Angeles. This is the up-and-coming game from the developers Fumi Games. I'm not sure exactly how. Published by Playside, and it's one we've talked about on stream before. It's this like hand-drawn, super cute and artsy game set in the 1930s. It's like this detective thriller first-person shooter, all hand-drawn rubber hose animation, inspired from those like old classic cartoons. And it just looks very, very unique and very stylish. And it's been in production for a while, but they had it here at Summer Games Fest and Playdays. And I got to see a hands-off demo of it, which basically just means that I sit on a couch while one of the developers plays the game, because he knows like what to do and it'll go smoother, and they can kind of explain design choices and stuff like that. So they walked us through kind of this basic level. You're going to see all that B-roll and gameplay on screen as I'm talking about it. But the immediate standouts are that, for one, the guns, the animation, the level design, all of it is super tight. It's super clean. And the other thing that they announced at Summer Games Fest was, of course, that Troy Baker is going to actually be like performing the role of the protagonist. He's going to be the star. It's going to be the detective, and all the dialogue is delivered there. And I kind of get the feeling that that was a relatively new change. Like, they might have had a different voice actor until recently, and then at some point they like got a bigger budget from Playside, the publisher, or like the interest spiked so they could justify spending more on like more recognizable voice talent or whatever. But I will say Troy Baker does a really, really good job in this. Shocker. He's very, very good. And all the line delivery was very solid. It's like campy, but grounded. And he was taking it seriously. He was very into it. It's very well done. Everything that's hand-drawn is beautiful. The level design is fairly straightforward, but I'm told that this was a pretty early level, so it's going to be simple. But we saw some basic combat, some environmental exploration. They discussed how they wanted to have multiple routes for a lot of the missions, so that there were ways that you could always have some level of dynamism. They wanted, for example, there to be false doors. You know, if you're calling through a vent, you can fall through the vent if you're not paying attention. Things like that. So it's not just literally linear for every single person. You have to actually think about what you're doing. We also got to see this like boss fight take place within the opera house, and then the escape from the opera house as it plays out. And overall, like, I just really, really liked what I saw. The art style initially, you know, it seems like it could just be a gimmick, like, oh, you're just going to hand draw stuff and it's going to be pretty and whatever. But how do you turn that into a video game? But here they actually did a pretty solid job of converting that hand-drawn animation into something that's reasonable and practical for the gameplay. And it worked. It worked very, very well. Every little bitty trick that they pulled, like the actual 2D, you know, figures rotating with you as you move through in the environment, so they always are directly to you. Even down to some of the little bitty things that they do with how those characters are actually like spawned in the environment behind closed doors, so they don't just pop out of nowhere and then the sprite like turns, or I don't know if sprite's the right word, but so it doesn't just rotate straight to you. There's always kind of a transitionary space for them to come in. It is all very well executed. It's done very subtly, and if you're not paying attention to it, you won't notice it in the best way possible. It's just done very, very well. And I can understand why they've spent a lot of time on this, because it's tricky. I can only imagine how tough this is. My thoughts, though, moving forward and for the game kind of long term as it approaches its eventual release date, I'm really wondering how they keep it fresh. You know, the gunplay seemed cute, but I didn't necessarily get the feeling that, I don't know how to even say it. You know, it doesn't feel like this is a really intense first-person shooter. It's literally hand-drawn cartoons. So it's going to be kind of campy. It's going to be pretty lightweight, I think. And that's okay, but you also have to keep players engaged, and how you do that while also dealing with this sort of uphill battle, which is 2D animated first-person shooting mechanics, it's got to be really, really tricky. So I'm not sure. And that honestly, that might be part of the reason why they chose to have this hands-off instead of hands-on. There were a lot of other games that had sometime in the future release dates that didn't have a firm launch date at all, period, that probably are coming in like 2027. And some of those games I played today and yesterday. Like some of those games I actually put my hands on and tried, but this one's coming out this year and they still weren't comfortable with us actually playing it ourselves, which, make of that what you will. I would have liked to have tried it. That would have made me feel a little bit better. But I do wonder if maybe the gunplay is the weak point here that they're still kind of refining. But overall, I mean, you also have to ask yourself, are you playing this game for the gunplay? Probably not. Like you're playing it for the campy story, for like the very, very unique art style, for the presentation. And I mean, they even have some other things that they mention, like in the environment are hidden these little cards, and the cards are used to build a deck that's used for a mini game within the game. So actually going and finding these collectible items and cards within the environment actually has a direct payoff within gameplay systems themselves. Like there's a lot of cool things going on here, a lot more depth than was initially present. And I'm very excited to see where that goes. I'm very excited. I just want to see more. And honestly, at the end of a preview, if that's the key takeaway, I just want more. That's a good takeaway to have. I still am not totally sure how it holds up over like 10 hours, of gameplay. I don't know how long it's going to be. Maybe it's only 5 hours. I don't know. But I'm very impressed by what I've seen so far, and I'm excited. I'm going to keep an eye on it for sure moving forward. I think it could be really, really cool. Definitely one of like the standout games of this year. Something people didn't even realize they needed. I think it's got a lot of viral potential. Clips of this I could see going viral. So I think it's in a really good spot. I just want to see more, and more importantly, I think it would be really good to play it. Whether they open up a public demo or they hold demos at like Gamescom or something, I think that would be really good for it, since the one question mark around it is the gunplay, and that's something they still are not comfortable with media and press and creators and stuff trying themselves. So until then, we just have to kind of infer what it's like. But I think it's looking really good. So I wanted to talk about it. It's one of the games I saw this weekend that was really cool, and I just wanted to share it with you because it looks really awesome. Shout out to Playside for making it happen, for providing this B-roll that you've been seeing on screen as I've rambled about it. And shout out Fumi Games for making a cool game. So we'll keep an eye on it. Thanks for watching, though. Much love. I'll be home soon. We can stream again like normal. It'll be great. I can't wait. I miss you guys. But until then, my friends, much love, hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.